All right. Well, hello again. Welcome to day two. I'm still Frank Kern. I am definitely not a gangster of any kind and have no ties to any sort of mafia or other type of criminal organization. But thank you for that. I have been selling stuff on the internet since 1999. I am a raving high level fan. I started using them as just a regular old customer back in, it was either late 2020 or early 2021. I can't remember. We use them in our business just like any, just using them like regular old customer style for a year. And I really thought it was too good to be true. I was like, there's no way this thing really is going to be this good. So we used it for a year. It turns out it really was that good. And we started our white label version on September 9th of 2022. And it's been outstanding. I love it. And now I don't know what you call people like me inside the organization, a brand ambassador
Yes.
or something like that. So we partner on that level as well, which is great, which means incidentally, in the interest of full disclosure and making sure we're crossing all of our T's and dotting the I's, I do have a financial interest in you using high level. I think that's probably obvious, but I think we're supposed to disclose that. So it has now been disclosed.
Awesome. So let's do a quick survey of the room. Give us a one in the streaming chat. So find your Facebook streaming chat. Again, do not personally message me. I would love to just get a one in the chat if you're starting out in the entrepreneurial journey. Like if this is your first year in business, I would love to get a one from you in the Facebook streaming chat. And I'm seeing some comments here. I see a few ones coming in already. Let me just double check that I'm looking at the right streaming. Yes. Okay, cool. Okay, Christian, Steven, Sandy, Jose, Jay Jackson, Alexandra. Yeah, I see a few ones coming in. You know what? It's a good idea for me to charge my cell phone while I do that. And give us a two in the chat if you consider yourself a bit more established and you've had a business of some kind, online business, digital entrepreneurship, maybe it's agency, maybe it's consulting, and give us a two in the chat if you consider yourself a little bit more seasoned, I would say. Okay, I see a few comments coming in. And give us a three in the chat if you have heard of AI and you don't know what to do about it. You're like, you know what? I came to this workshop so I can somehow incorporate an AI-oriented concept or idea or merge it to one of my offers or something like that. Okay, Frank, we're getting a lot of threes here on a ton of people really interested in AI. So, Frank, if we can take a few minutes and do a quick recap of yesterday, I think that'll be fantastic as we get started.
All right, cool. Yeah. So what we covered yesterday was we went over the fact that content marketing definitely works. And I showed examples of content marketing pieces that have literally brought in billions with a B of dollars. And they were print media. So not only did they work exceptionally well, but they worked under what I call very difficult conditions, meaning in order for someone to actually respond to the content marketing, they had to get up out of their chair and do something. And typically that was to fill out a coupon and put it in the mail. And it still worked. So gave a lot of examples of that. And then explained our overall concept, which was, all right, if we can model the framework of what this type of content marketing was doing, and if we can put it on social media instead of paying a gazillion dollars to run it as a newspaper ad, and if we can put that in front of our target market, if we do that enough over time, we're going to do pretty good. We might not make billions of dollars. I've never done that personally, but we're going to do pretty good and certainly much better than if we didn't. So we established that, and then we came up with a framework for like guidelines in terms of what to make your content about and how to kind of approach it. And our whole assignment last night was to just come up with an idea for a social media post by figuring out what's a question that my target market likely is wondering, and then find the answer to that question, and then write a one sentence summary of findings, basically. So we can build a social post using AI doing that. So the long-term thing, and this is again something we established yesterday, is once we do that once, you'll be like, oh God, that was easy. Then we can do that a lot, and we can also turn it into ads. And that's what we're going to cover today, is the actual implementation of this using High Level's AI content writer thingy. That's the technical term. And it'll be fun. I'm stoked on it.
Absolutely. So let's do a quick visit to the principal's office, if you don't mind, Frank. Let's just see who all did their homework, right? I would love for you to paste the sentences and the homework that we asked everybody to do in the comments. I would love to just get your feedback. I know it's only 2 or 3 inserts there, so post that in the commentary, and myself and Frank will go through it later and maybe even add some discussions and comments to what you wrote. I would just love to just get an idea of your progress as we get started with day 2. And just one more note, those of you that might have missed yesterday, there is a replay video in the YouTube channel. Ethan, our community manager, will double check that it's there. But either way, the replays are available in the Facebook group as well as the YouTube channel. And in addition to that, if you want the actual slides and the snapshot that we gave away yesterday, which is part of this workshop, if you signed up for a brand new trial, you can go to gohighlevel.com/resources. I'm sorry, GHL resources. And you'll be able to see 3 different folders. All of our different virtual programs are labeled there. What you want to do is go to the monthly workshop and look at the name Frank Kern, and you'll even see other workshops there as well. But look at Frank Kern, and in that folder, you'll see the snapshot instructional videos as well as day 1 slides in a PDF format ready to go. All right, so without any further ado, we did a quick recap. Let's go ahead and get started with day 2 content.
All right, let's see if I can share the screen without breaking it. Come on, Frankie. You can do it, buddy. All right. You see slides and stuff? I haven't made them full screen yet, but is that working? All right.
It's working. Yep.
Cool. Okay. Amazing. Oh, I can still see you guys over there. Awesome. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to work on building the brand. Branding turns out pretty big deal. I used to think it was BS. It's not. And I'll show you something really cool called the halo effect. And I'll show you how to get famous, but for a reason and with the right people. So we're going to do a lot more today than we did yesterday. So yesterday was like kind of light stretching. Today we're lifting weights, and I know that can be difficult. I did it once, and I found it to be a bit taxing, but we're going to get some stuff done today. It's GSD day today. So here's our big idea, right? So we know that there's certain types of content marketing that literally made billions. So if you didn't see yesterday, just watch the replay or download the slides. I gave you the actual examples, and they're really freaking good. And it also kind of demystifies it, because you're like, oh, wait, okay, this isn't really rocket surgery, which is good. And we know that we can make similar content for our markets. And even if it's not as good as the stuff that made billions, and it probably won't be because those people that wrote that are like legendarily good, it'll still be pretty good, especially since we now have the unfair advantage of social media, which they didn't. And we have AI, which isn't meant to replace us, by the way. It's just meant to speed up the process and make everything easier. And if we make a lot of this stuff and we're always making it useful to our future customers, which is what I consider a prospect to be, someone in the marketplace that you're advertising to, we'll probably do pretty good. And we can use AI to create it, and we can automate the posting and stuff, which is really awesome. And then we can take these pieces of content and we can put them in front of a very targeted market, and show them a lot of this stuff by using a very specific kind of social media ad, which is a lot different. So if you're an experienced Facebook advertiser or whatever, this is a much different type of ad than what you're probably used to running. It's a lot cheaper too, which is cool. And it's cheap to do that. So over time, we will, if we do this, become a household name to the people that we're targeting. And that's something you can pretty much bank on. And because our content has helped them, because we're never making it about us, we're not trying to be cool, we're just literally trying to make stuff that helps them in advance for asking for money, they will come to us instead of us having to chase them. That's the big idea. And I got some stats that shows how it works because I've tested it, and that was a lot of stuff. So let me give you the redneck translation of what I just said. Certain types of content marketing that work real good for a long time. We can use AI and common sense to make a bunch of social media posts that are pretty similar to the stuff that worked real good. We can use really cheap social media ads that stick them in front of the right people over and over again. And this works real good if we keep doing it. That's the shorter version of what I just said. That's the easier for me to understand version anyway. All right. So don't cost too much to do. It takes a little time. So, this isn't a get rich quick idea. I have yet to figure out how to get rich quick, by the way. So when y'all figure it out, tell me. I'd like to. So here's the kind of stuff that we end up making. And this is my first ever experiment from doing this over a year ago, almost over a year ago, close enough. All right. So I'll give you the dates here in a minute. These are the posts. Okay. So they're probably hard to read. It really doesn't matter. The point is, it's just words and stuff, and there's nothing fancy about them. All right. So we got a picture that is basically a headline, kind of mimicking those content marketing pieces I showed you yesterday. And then there's some copy that helps them. And then I tell them to do stuff. That's the whole post. So they ain't fancy, but they worked real good. And here are the numbers behind the first very poorly executed experiment. I'm one of these folks that don't like to really plan ahead. So I'll just shoot and then aim, which sometimes works pretty well. In this case, it worked out okay. Not necessarily the best approach to doing things, but that's why this first experiment was poorly executed. So I first used it to send people to my homepage, rainmakerai.com. There's no need for anyone to go there and buy my stuff. You already use High Level. So that's my white label of High Level. I'm not trying to get you to go there. That page isn't really designed to convert well. It's really meant to look good and show the value of the product. So it doesn't even have an opt-in form on it, which is me kind of violating my own fundamental advice that I give to people, which is why nobody should listen to what I say. It sells what used to sell. It doesn't even sell a trial anymore. And it's really obnoxious about disclosing the price. So I make people check a box and everything, really hardcore about that. And the only reason I've just drove people to that site instead of doing it making a fancy and cool funnel is I didn't want to take that 10 whole minutes, that it would take to make a new funnel and do it properly. So I was like, all right, I'll just see what happens. Let's just test it out and see. And I think that, all joking aside, if you can stomach it not working the first time perfectly, this is not really a bad approach, because otherwise it's really easy to what if and get caught in perfectionism, and then you never get anything done. So also, we couldn't onboard everybody, which will come into play here in a minute. So the test, it was almost exactly a year ago. This is the first test. I ran ads December 6th of last year through January 19th of last year, and it was driving people to that page. Okay, so I spent $5,502, all right, on ads. And that's a lot for that short of a period of time for this type of ad. But again, I'd never done it before, and I wanted to see what would happen. So I don't recommend necessarily you go and spend a bunch of money. I just I'd rather have data, than okay, here's what happened after 2 clicks. You know what I mean? So I'll be damned. I ended up getting 28 trials from the web page, just from my homepage, and it ranged between $3.99 a month to $4.99 a month. And here's the breakdown. So I got 20 trials for $4.99, 4 at $4.49. That's the, what do we call it? The professional. Well, we got Premier, Professional, and Standard. Yeah.
The Pro. Yeah.
Yeah, I get them confused because I'm smart. And then I had 4 for the cheaper one. So if you do the math on that, which is not an exact science, I paid $196.50 to acquire a trial customer. And that was a year ago. And our onboarding process wasn't as good as it was today. So most people canceled, which was fine. I had started it in September, of last year, and did this test on December 6th. So we were still kind of finding our bearings in terms of being a software company. It turns out it's not as easy as it looks on the infomercials, but it's certainly worth the work. So the ones who didn't leave, they ended up being worth $1,896 a month, which is like okay, because it took 2.5 months to break even from that first amount of spend, which isn't like an overnight amazing success story. But every month after that, the rebills were pure profit. So I'll take it, because like metaphorically, it's like if you buy a rental property and you rent it out and it takes 2.5 months to pay the rental property off, and then every other rent payment after that is just purely profit. Like that's kind of the same principle. I mean, it is a metaphor, but you know what I mean. I think the word is metaphor. Whatever, you get it. So I ain't too good at grammar or nothing. But anyway, it's a tolerable result. It's not amazing, but it's tolerable. However, this happened, and this is something to be expected, which is why I kind of made a big deal out of this being one of the requirements that you need to have in order for any business to work, which is follow-up emails, right? So if you want a magic formula for selling things online, regardless of what business you're in, you could be a dentist, you could be an attorney, you could be a software company, you could be a manufacturer of like little pocket knives that sells to, I don't know, whatever. Here's the magic formula: get leads, sell them stuff. The thing that goes in the middle of that is follow up a lot. That's the whole formula. So our site, even though it doesn't have an opt-in form on it, at least we had the common sense to use a two-step order form. So you start to order, fill out your name and email address, hit next, then go to actually order. And of course, not everybody orders. So we had plenty of people do that. And we followed up with them by email. Wild idea. And part of our follow-up sequence was we'd say, all right, to hell with the trial. You can just join it for $297 a month. Take that. And that brought in 11 more paying customers at $297 a month from those follow-up emails. All of this generated from those posts that I just showed you, by the way. So that's another $3,267 in monthly recurring revenue, which is pretty good. So if you add that to the same money that came in from the trials who didn't quit, now we're at $5,163 in monthly recurring revenue. It only cost me $339 more than that to get all those customers. So immediately, on day number whatever, I'm now profitable. So
Frank,
second cycle.
So can we pause for a quick second on the slides? And I've got a couple of questions that I think we should address when it comes to the whole SaaS thing. Let me just go ahead and stop quick second. So Frank, you're someone that's been in the marketing space for decades. And what made you say yes to SaaS in general? Like, I know there's a ton of people in here that are, they don't know about SaaS and how agencies are now converting themselves into a software company. Like, can you share a little bit about your experience with Rainmaker AI and the whole SaaS thing? Why is this business model starting to be really attractive? Give us the spiel on SaaS real quick, if you don't mind.
Interestingly, I've always wanted to have a SaaS company. So I even had equity in another company prior to working together with you guys and starting Rainmaker AI, where I took all of my stuff and built my campaigns into this other company. And the founder of that company, who was a very dear friend of mine, ended up becoming terminally ill, and I gave my equity back. This is before I met you guys. But I'd always wanted to do it. And the reason I wanted to do it is because I have been selling, here's how to sell more stuff to online marketers. I started in 1999. I've had a terrible go at it. I didn't really know what I was doing. Then I switched to selling pet products using everything I learned, and I built a $100,000 a month business. We didn't do 100 grand every month, but it sounds cooler if I say that. Selling downloadable audio trainings for your dog training is the weirdest thing I know, but it was before videos were easy to do. So I sold that company and then started really just only selling stuff to online entrepreneurs. And what made SaaS attractive to me is it doesn't matter if I'm selling a $5 book or a $1,000 course or $10,000, freaking workshop. or even a $40,000 per year private client arrangement, which I no longer do, but I used to do those a lot. There's a huge percentage of people that just will not do what you tell them to do. And agencies have experienced this too. Like you'll get someone the traffic, you'll drive, you'll get them leads, and then the leads don't convert, and they're like, "It's your fault. The leads don't convert," and it's not. They don't freaking do anything. So what made it attractive to me was like, okay, wait a minute. If I can just build all this stuff for them, so they don't have to figure it out, and they can just fill in the blanks, then it's going to really diminish that rate of not doing stuff, and so that was always the dream for me, because it's really disheartening as a content creator when you teach people stuff and they don't do anything with it, because after a while it kind of makes you feel like, man, maybe I'm a bad person, or it's my fault or something. So it allowed me to take all of that away and just focus on, okay, I'm just going to, here's the tool that actually does all the stuff that I've been telling you to do that you're not doing. So now, like, you have no more excuses.
I think
And
that's interesting take,
revenue.
as well as the churn rate behind the business for you as well, right? Your book of business becomes a lot more stable than the average high ticket customers or the agency consulting, however, business model, or even coaching, for example. Like, regardless of what the model is, SaaS allows you to have a more stable, less volatile, more stable business in general. And that's what I think is more exciting for a lot of us here at a high level. We're seeing the agencies kind of convert through and just trickle in a few SaaS offers here and there and test it out. And if Frank's doing it, you ought to listen and do it as well. That's just one of my policies. Of somebody who, with a lot of experience, who's built massive brands, is doing it. There's something to it. So Frank, didn't mean to stop you in your tracks there. I get curious of these things because it's a common question people get. Why do people go into the SaaS world so easily and how it's done? So Frank, if you want to share your slides again, let's go through some of the things you were sharing, which was around how you were landing trials off of this, which is insane.
And again, like, it wasn't to a particularly good web page, it was just like to our homepage, and I basically did everything wrong, but it still ended up working pretty well. And just one more like side note about SaaS versus everything else. I co-founded an agency in 2019, and we grew that thing to 800. I think our biggest month was $896,000 in revenue, and I wasn't getting to keep very much of that money at all. And we were like, nearly, by we, I mean me, my co-founder really didn't have to do anything, but I was about damn near having a nervous breakdown. It was so stressful managing all of those clients. With software, it's a completely different situation, especially if you partner with high level, because they build really excellent software, and that's all they think about all day, and it shows. So it's pretty good. So anyway, this was like the first test. All right, let me get my thingy working. Okay, so again, look how basic these posts were. We got a picture, that I made on Canva. That's got the headline and then some words and stuff. That's the post, right? So the copy's pretty good in the post, but it's just helpful copy. It's not persuasive. It's not sales copy. It's not talking about how great I am. It has nothing to do with me. It is essentially an article that gives helpful content, and then it's like, hey, if you want to try this thing, like, go here and try it. That was it. That's the whole thing.
So you like written words a lot more than other stuff, like videos, it seems.
Yeah. So I have data that I can show you today. I believe, and this is just based on personal experience, so I don't want to make a blanket statement, but for me personally, the written stuff actually outperforms the videos. And I know if anyone follows me on social, they would be like, well, dummy, how come you're not doing written stuff? And the reason why is because I'm freaking lazy. So I've got a billion hours of content that I've already recorded, and I got a video dude that just makes them into clips that kind of does this, but in video format. But that doesn't work nearly as well as just writing it out. And I don't know why. You would think that the videos would do better, but they don't. Maybe it's me. Yeah, maybe if it was someone else on camera.
Yeah.
Could be.
I think
Maybe it was
video
like
is I
so
think video is
attractive.
saturated as well, right? I think there's a lot more noise in that video space versus almost like a book reader that will dedicate time to read certain paragraphs. I think I think it's two different audiences and sometimes as well. But let's keep going.
All right, cool. So let's see. There we go. So then I done tested it again. All right. So I was like, wait a minute, that worked out okay. And I did it wrong. So what'll happen if I don't do it wrong? So I did it pretty good. All right. Used a better funnel. So I went crazy, spent $611.21. I used the same ads, actually less of them. And instead of saying, hey, go to Rainmaker AI, I said, go to secretclass.ai. And that was something people opted in for. And then it showed them a on-demand class. There we go. And then that on-demand class pitched the software trial for $399. So that was, like an actual funnel, instead of just like go here. I had a little bit of sense to it. So that funnel has an opt-in page, a webinar page, which an on-demand class is just a video that plays on a web page. You're not trying to pretend that it's a live webinar or anything. It it has a sales letter page, which is just like the webinar replay with a sales letter underneath it. Very simple, right? And it had a 5-part follow-up sequence that sent 10 emails total. I have given you a much cooler version, actually, of this very same funnel and a much cooler version of the email stuff. So the Paulson did mention the snapshot and the Google Doc and all of that stuff earlier. I've already built it for you. You can copy the one that I built if you want to and just use that, because I made it a lot better over
And
time. Remember
and
that?
by the
So
way,
you're
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Frank. By the way, that's just specific for this workshop. So if you're brand new and you jumped into the trial offer we had for the workshop, you get all of that for free. Even if you're an existing client and you want to just upgrade it for free, you can. But we just wanted to do something for all of you that are partaking in the workshop. So you're not going to find it anywhere else. It's in the links that I provided in the chat, and I'm sure somebody posted it as well. So find it. There's instructional videos and that explains everything in the snapshots. So January 21 through 29.
Yep, went crazy, and I should have spent more really, but I didn't. So I don't know. It was more than 48 hours ago, so I don't really know what happened entirely. But here's how it did, because I can go back and look at my numbers. So this is my stats from within high level, and it did like okay, So I got 193 unique people to the registration page. 24 of them opted in to watch the secret class, and then 2 of them took the trial. And one of those people took it from like watching it right there, and then this one came from my email follow-ups. And so that was it. And it's like, well, okay, that's it's not great, but all right, this is the power of branding. Okay. And then this is a big deal. And I can't say that all of the numbers I'm about to show you came from that initial $600. I think it came as a result of the earlier test too. It all kind of played into this. But the halo effect is when people see your stuff over and over again, they don't just see the posts. They also like see your brand, they see a domain name, they'll like check out your social profiles, they'll like Google you and all of this other stuff. And that can be very, very powerful, as you're about to see. And this is where the long-term money is, by the way. So, and this is also where the brand building is, and is where the goodness is. And what I call the goodness is like these posts are inherently good in the sense that they are designed to do good things, like help people. Like it's not like a pitch or anything. It's like, okay, here's like some helpful information. So that's good. That creates goodwill for you and or your company brand, which to me is kind of intertwined. And as a result of that, people come and they like buy stuff from you, and assuming that your stuff is good, they get even more value. So it's we got to turn that little thing on. There we go. It's like a pretty good, like virtuous cycle of good things happening. And I think that's cool. So check this out. All right. This is an example of one of the social posts I turned into an ad. They can click there to, go to secretclass.ai, and they could also click like this little see more button, and they could learn the actual, or they could read the actual copy of my post. And they're also seeing this. So anytime you're running an ad on social, they're seeing this thing, and they're seeing whatever your domain is right here. And this is where this gets ridiculous, because I'm just now looking at this. I have one domain here, rainmakerai.com. I have a different domain name here. And then I have like my own personal name. So I'm really doing this about as dumb as you could possibly do it. But
you're doing it.
Doing it dumb is better than not doing it, because check this out. All right. This isn't all from this one particular post or ad thingy or whatever. But I'm just going to diagram this out anyway. So we ran ads like this one, and people did what we thought they would do, which was they click this, or they remembered this easy to remember domain name. So remember yesterday it was a big deal. I was like, hey, get a domain name that's easy to remember. So some people typed it in. I actually was able to measure that. So 100 people like clicked the link, and the rest of the people typed it in. So that's kind of crazy. You think about it, that's almost 100 people just typed in secretclass.ai because they remembered it. Remember, they saw more than this one post here. 24 people opted in, which is okay. But this is the power of framing. The more goodwill you have with somebody prior to asking them for money, the more likely they are to give you money. And only 2 people took the trial, but that's damn near 10% of the leads became trial customers. Now I know we're dealing with a small data sample size, but you will find this, that the leads you get from this kind of stuff are typically going to buy a lot more than the leads you get from just like regular conversion ads, which is cool. So that's good. So that's all like, okay, but here's the halo effect part. All right. So they saw the name Frank Kern, and for whatever reason, they must have been like bored. They Googled me, or they went to my Facebook or Instagram profile and they clicked on the links there, and they end up at frankkern.com. Now, I never, ever promote frankkern.com. I don't like talk about the domain name. I don't like, say, hey, go to frankkern.com or whatever. If you go there, hang on.
Frank, real quick on this, how much organic activity is happening while you ran almost 5K into ads? Is it combining together with those noise, or help us kind of
Oh, it's
understand?
better. Yeah.
Okay.
I separated it out. So I'll show you the numbers. It's ridiculous, dude. And then I'll bring you up to present day, by the way. So
Cool.
it all leads to like, okay, here's how this is relevant now. Yeah. So they're going to frankkern.com, which is like, it's nice looking. I had it redesigned by someone who knows what they're doing in 2020, but it's really just a page that like is meant to look like I'm a real person. It's not really supposed to sell anything. However, it still sold stuff. So the top of the page had a link to Rainmaker AI. 8 people clicked from my homepage, went over there and took the trial, which oddly enough was more expensive than the trial that I was advertising in the funnel. Okay, I'm not going to argue with anybody on that one. In the middle of the homepage, there's a link to a webinar that sold the software without the trial for $297 a month. Got 3 immediate paying users for that. That brought in $891 a month. Also, in the middle of the page, there were links to my $4 like funnel. Maybe you've seen this god awful ad I've been running since 2021, but I sell 4 courses for $4. It's just a way to get customers that then they can be like, oh, this guy's actually pretty nice. Then they'll buy my stuff later. That funnel brought in $784. And so all of that was directly attributed to doing this stuff. So like that's a lot more money from what I'm calling now the halo effect, because people are seeing this and they're not just clicking on the ad, they're checking you out, and they're doing so because they like your stuff, which is kind of cool. And the bottom of my homepage links to my book funnel, and I got another $238 in sales from that. So it's not a gazillion dollars, but I didn't really spend very much. So I made a lot more than I spent, which is cool. So 8-day results, 24 leads from the funnel itself, 2 trials from the funnel itself, people clicking like, from the ad. Not bad. Conversion rate lead to trials pretty good, actually. oddly enough, trials from people going and typing in frankkern.com and then going to the page, 8. Kind of makes sense though, because there's so much more work involved for them to get there. They're clearly into the content. 3 people came in from the just don't take a trial and pay $297. $4 sales, $4 funnel sales brought in another $784. Book funnel brought in $238. I spent $611.21. It brought me $1,913 plus my monthly recurring revenue from that. So my net after spend was $1,302. Now, I did prior to that run that other 5K test. So we can't really say that all of this was from that $600 spend, but there was enough time between the tests that we can figure that, most of it was. So that's pretty good. It's like, all right, this is okay. So here's present day. All right. ADHD 1. So number A, I should have just kept doing that. All right. But I'm amazing at not following my own advice. Like the number one thing I tell people that give me a lot of money is like, let's find the thing that's working real good and just go all in on that. I never do that because I got like the mega ADD. It's amazing. Like I think I have it enough for everybody here. If y'all want some, I've got it. All right. So that worked so well that I stopped doing it. And back in August, I got a guy that started taking old videos of my content and like basically duct taping little calls to action at the end. So it'd be about me talking about whatever. And then at the end, I'd be like, hey, if you want to learn something, go to this other domain. And so that method works and it's working okay. I use the same ad strategy to promote these videos that I did to promote the written content. So there's no change in the ads or anything like that. Written content was more effective, but I got lazy and it still works. Even though I'm inconsistent and I promoted multiple different things with these videos. So I'm confusing the ever living hell out of the marketplace, but like whatever, ADD, it got me. I'm working on it. Here are some specific numbers and examples that are recent. So one of the things that I have been promoting is on-demand class for creatorsai.com. The only possible way someone will see that domain name is if they watch one of these videos and at the very end of the video, like you see on the screenshot here, at the very end of the video, I'll be like, hey, if you want to see some cool stuff that's potentially completely unrelated to what I was talking about in this video, go to creatorsai.com. So this was not very well thought out. Videos look cool though. So we got that. It's the video editors, not me. And so here's what they look like. I'm just teaching stuff and then say, hey, go to creatorsai.com at the end of the video. So in order for them to see that call to action, they got to watch me yapping and then physically type it in. All right. They're not clicking to go to creatorsai.com. They have to type in creatorsai.com. Here's another one. Notice this, by the way, when your content's good, people will share it. Yeah. You want that. All right. And then here's another example. So like, these are all just giving you examples. This is what the videos look like. Here are some partial stats. These are the ones I could track the best because I've done multiple offers, but this is the easiest one to track. And it just so happens I've spent the most on this particular one. So found success in spite of myself here. On ads like that you saw, which is just the same thing that we're doing, but in video format. Just please don't do videos. Just do it in print. Trust me. I spent since August 1st, $4,967.58. All right. I do a very low daily spend. Should probably do more. 2,789 people typed in creatorsai.com and went to that site. It's not clickable in the ads. If someone clicks on one of the ads, they actually go to a different landing page because I wanted to track this. I wanted to be able to give real data because I knew I was going to teach this stuff eventually. 1,014 people opted in there for creatorsai.com. I got 16 sales, average orders $1,497. So the total sales, $23,952. I'll take it, especially like my profit there's 18 grand. But this is where like doing this stuff, even if you do it badly, all right, So like I did. Even if you don't do it perfectly, this is why consistency is key with this stuff. The damn halo effect is ridiculous. Hang on.
It adds a lot of fuel to the fire.
Dude,
Yeah.
look at these numbers. Okay. So, people still like they see the name Frank Kern, they click on my profile or whatever. Maybe they Google me or maybe they just type in frankkern.com. Kind of an easy connection to make, but I never tell people to go there. So people are going there. 4-course offer from my, linked from my homepage so I can track that, did $8,026 in sales since August 1st. The book funnel did $4,555 in 20 sales specifically from people clicking from my homepage to the book funnel since August 1st. Only way they're doing that, only way they're finding the homepage is because out of the blue, they get a telepathic message to go check me out, or they're seeing these ads. All right. It's the only way they're doing it. I'm not that popular that people are going to randomly search for me. It's got to be the ads. I messed up the tracking for people who click over to my software. So I'm just not even going to count that. So I got sales, but I'm not even going to figure them in. I'll just leave that as an aside and be like, okay, I'm not going to count it because I don't want to overcount it, So therefore, the halo effect just between these two things brought in another $12,581.20 in addition, dude, to the $23,952 in sales that came from people going to Creators AI, which is like, what the hell, right? Consistency.
And that's from the 4K ad spend test number 2 that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, well, this is present day. Yeah. Oh, so I started in August, and this, as of whatever, yesterday, I added up how much I'd spent on those ads.
Yeah, so let me understand this properly. Maybe I'm missing a few steps myself. So you're running paid ads, along with it, all of your organic pathways or your organic offers that are out there. None of those have a dead end method. Everything it just goes to another, crossover offer is what you're saying. So like once you're done purchasing something, you're just going to be like, I know this is totally unrelated, but can I share about another thing, kind of like the Creators AI? So what you're saying is when you run ads, there's crossover effect from different offers that are happening, and it's just elevating the entire ecosystem organically.
Yes, and I will show you the ads again, just kind of to give you. I mean, I can bring up the Facebook account if you want to see them, because we will be running ads today, so I'll show those to you later. But let me share my screen again. I couldn't get Keynote to get out of full screen mode. That's why I had to stop sharing. I'm like, how do I work this?
I would love to see, the thing that you're talking about where people had to type in Creators AI or whatever, like that kind of a system would be kind of cool to see if it's possible for us to see. But yeah, show us what we're looking at here. Oh yeah, we saw the screen already.
Yeah, so these are the ads I'm running right now. And so between August 1st and now, yesterday, didn't I give here we are. And I spent $4,967.58. So I started it on August 1st, just really low daily budgets. And I'm just running people, just showing these ads. And I've got like 15 of them or something, and this is like for this specific Creators AI offer. And so people see these, and they have the only way they even hear the domain name Creators AI is they have to wait till the end of these damn videos. And then they hear me say, go to creatorsai.com. And there is no clickable link there.
Got it. And the ads themselves are based on the principles we talked about yesterday, right? They are content driven. They are, those anxiety questions the prospects or that industry possibly have that nobody seems to answer. And you're literally leveraging either education, information, or relevant questioning and driving that traffic into your software offer.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty brilliant. Isn't that cool, y'all?
The only difference is the ads actually don't necessarily always answer a question that's in their mind. It's just some sort of content that's valuable. And I'll just slap that, hey, go to Creators AI thing at the end of every single one of them. So it could very well be completely irrelevant to creators AI, but I still put it there because it's better than nothing. And that's just out of laziness. That's why I'm like, hey, don't be doing the videos until like do what I'm showing you, not what I'm doing personally, because this is just dumb of me to be doing this. I just don't feel like doing the extra work, because one of the things about SaaS is when you grow one that's pretty big, you really need to invest in systems to make your customers happy and keep them. And that's where my focus is right now, you know. But yeah, dude, basically what you said is exactly what's happening, except it made me sound like I'm doing it better than I really am.
I think there's a lot to it, because every single one of us have our own creative ideas and creative flows, and there's a place for it. The market will react to you as a person. The all the pain points that we talk about, you know, even just in this workshop, you talking about ADHD, like there's a group of people that are all entrepreneurs, and I'm like, dude, yeah, I feel like a squirrel half the time. So there's like, just from you being you in the world of internet creates like a synergy. I don't mean to make ADHD the commonality there, but just throwing out some examples. But so yeah, what else should we consider when it comes to creating a test point like this?
Oh, well, let's like make one. So here, I'll go back to the slides here. So let me jump forward. So these are the ads I'm running now. Again, I really shouldn't be doing this. Just to be clear, y'all, please just do it. Like the thing that worked the best originally is pure laziness that I don't do it. So here are my stats, AKA it's worked really, really well. The halo effect is ridiculous. So that's like unbelievable to me. And I have used redneck analytics, and like way less people go to frankkern.com when I'm not doing this. All right. So like that's how I know that the halo effect is real, because prior to August 1st, when I wasn't doing this,
Yeah.
I didn't have hardly anybody go to frankkern.com and like do this other stuff. So it's like, okay, it used to be this and now it's this. Pretty damn sure it's because of these ads, you know? So I wasn't doing it right. Here's the right way to do it. Okay. And we're going to build one of these. So this is a diagram of what the perfect post looks like. We start with the image. If you remember the ones that I showed you that I originally did, the image was just a headline. And that's kind of it, like as if it was the title of an article. I forget to do this almost every freaking time, but it's a really good idea to put your domain name right there at the top of the image, because they will remember it and they'll type it in. So there's that. Please don't make the images fancy, just plain text. Works great. Tested it. All right. Then they're at first, they're only going to see the first 2 or 3 lines of your post. So, and then they're going to have to click more to read it. So make sure those are good. You know, like if you're going to spend a lot of time obsessing over anything, like make sure that those ask a question or like really grab the person's attention. And we'll do it together in a minute so you can see how. And the middle part there is where you put like the actual, your post, which is just content. So the way I do it is like I showed you yesterday, and the way I recommend especially is you find out what people want to know about, either using Answer the Public, or I'll share some other content ideas with you when we're done. And then I like just to use Google, and I'll show you an exact Google search here in a minute and how quick this is, to get some information. And then I'll use GHL's AI writer to create the post. Then I edit it and I learn how to be great at slides. I don't know how I did that, but that's supposed to be edit it. All right. So that's a beautifully done slide there. At least I'm good at animation. And then at the end of my copy, I tell them to do something. You know, like, hey, if you want to try something cool, go here. That's kind of it. So all of this is not about me. It's not about trying to look cool. It's not about my credentials. It's about them, and it's answering a question that they want. And you have the option to, when you turn it into an ad, you can have it be like a little clickable thing. I'm not 100% sure that this does any good, really, because I've tested both, like without the clickable button and with it. And I don't think that the clickable button actually helps you. I think if you just make them read the copy, they will. And then that means they're going to be way more likely to buy when they actually go to your site. I don't have hardcore A/B split test data on that, but just from first glance, I'm not 100% sure you even need to put the button there. All righty. So this
Frank,
is
real
what people.
quick before we go further, the can you address your rate of approval by Mr. Zuckerberg over at Facebook? Like, I know there's a 20 or 30% text rule that says you cannot cover 20 more than 20% of the graphic or ad with what a, like, I'm just throwing my Facebook and Google ad buyer hat on for a quick second. How quickly do you get these approved? What are the processes? Maybe you don't deal with any issues at all because you've already probably had an established ad account for a long time, maybe.
Oh, dude, they don't care how long you've been advertising with them. They could shut me down in a minute for no reason at all. But they don't have that weird thing anymore. They
Oh,
they
okay.
don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. They're like, I don't know. One day they're just like, all right, to hell with it. Put some text in there.
Okay.
So they actually like this type of advertising and this type of campaign is exactly what they love
Yeah.
because it gives a good user experience. So all Facebook cares about is that the user has a good experience while they're on Facebook, so they'll spend more time on Facebook. So these ads give the user a good experience, and so from an approval perspective, it's really hard to get disapproved unless we're like, being hateful or something, or saying like, hey, the reason you're fat and miserable is because of like stuff we wouldn't do anyway.
Yeah.
But I have yet to, knock on wood, I have yet to have any sort of issues with approval ever with these
Okay.
types of ads,
Yeah, and
which is great.
and have you tested out any other platforms like LinkedIn? Because I know text ads on LinkedIn is really easy and powerful. What about YouTube or Google or any of the other stuff? My gut tells me you're simple, so probably not.
Yeah, I haven't. YouTube ads I've tested a bit, but LinkedIn, I like people even follow me on LinkedIn. I don't know why, because I don't post there. And I don't know like how to do it really. I mean, I know how to like use it with our social planner, but I never do because I just
Got
don't
it.
care.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep doing the thing that works.
Yeah.
So this is what people see. Like, so if you create an ad like this is what they see when they scrolling, patrolling. They're hating. They're trying to catch you riding dirty. For all of you early hip hop lovers out there, all right. So they're gonna see that's the first thing that's gonna get their attention. All right, and then it's a toss up between the rest of these. Maybe the teaser copy is the next thing they're going to pay attention to. The CTA down there at the bottom, clearly they're going to see that. Again, I'm not 100% sold on putting that in the ads personally. And then they also see the brand. But the big thing there is like the headline. So it makes sense that we make that good. So, like that particular ad, which is all content, works very, very well. And this is what it looked like as a scroller. They got to click the see more button there in order to actually read the post, which plenty of people did, and that's kind of the idea. You want them to read it. So that's what people see. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. We're not trying to freaking do anything. Totally no shenanigans. 100% goodwill, which is so great because like other marketers kind of are dicks. Not all of them, but generally the public, at least, they don't like marketers. But if we just give them good content, that they don't really see us that way. And they're like, oh, I'm going to go here when I need this thing that they can help me with. So it's a very good dynamic that you're creating with your marketplace. So let's put it all together. All right. So do this in this order, please. And we're going to do it together, by the way. So remember yesterday, like we found a question that your market's probably asking. That was like our mission was to find that question. Then we want to Google that question and find an answer and find stats and sources whenever possible. All right, so that's pretty easy. I'll show you how easy in just a minute because we're going to do this. And then we just want to write a sentence or two for Go High Level's AI writer based on the research. We're not trying to create a post. We're just like writing one or two sentences with some information so we can plug it into the machine that writes the post. That's all. All righty. And then we're going to open up the social media planner on Go High Level. We're going to click on, I'll show you how to do all of that stuff. You can review these instructions in a minute, but I think it'll be extremely boring for you to watch me read these instructions. So here is the end result, and then we'll do it together, but this is important. If I had the question does email marketing work? If I determined like, okay, this is what people in my market want to know. Does email marketing work? All righty. I could Google that, and I did, and I could read some of the results, and I did. And one of the results was that according to HubSpot, email marketing gets $38 back for every dollar invested. Okay. So with that knowledge, I wrote these 2 sentences as fuel for Go High Level's AI writer. Email marketing is literally the most profitable way to market your business online. And studies show that for every $1 a business spends on email, they get $38 back. Kablamo. I decided to call the post the truth about email marketing. And this is what I pasted into Go High Level's social planner. They got the little content AI there. So I wrote my title, which you can just make up. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to keep it. Then I put my 2 sentences in there and I hit go. All right. So let's do it together. Okay. I'm going to hide those template links from you for now. All righty. So check it out. Does email marketing work? Is my search. I did this morning because we're just going to go from scratch here. All right. So immediately I found email marketing is up to 40 times more effective than social media. Great. Okay. So that is my 1 sentence. I'm just going to use that. All right. So I'm going to copy and paste that thing. And now I'm going to come over here to Rainmaker AI. I'm already in, or this is, it's built on Go High Level. So y'all log into your Go High Level. I'm in the social planner thingy. I'm going to click on new post. I'm going to click on create new post. I'm going to select the Facebooks and the Instagrams. I'm not going to reconnect to LinkedIn because I don't really know what I'm doing on that. So, there we go. All right. I'm not going to write anything here because I don't want to. Okay. I'm going to click on the AI thingy. Man, this is really tough, but we can do it. I'm going to click on generate with AI. All righty. So now I'm going to copy and paste. Okay. I can do that. Been practicing. So kablamo. There we have it already. So where are we? Paste that in here.
And by the way, if you're brand new and watching this workshop with us, AI is actually built into High Level, just so you know. So certain features, certain areas, similar to what Frank is showing here, the social media planner, you can use some of those AI features just natively inside High Level now, which makes
this
life a lot easier.
This is High Level. I mean, Rainmaker's built on High Level. So look right there, it says app.gohighlevel.com. So yeah, just use all this inside of High Level. So this is the tool that y'all have, this is a pretty good deal. All right. So I just changed my sentence to say studies show that email marketing is up to 40 times more effective than social media. All righty. And I'll just name my post or content title. Let's see, email versus, you make the versus, I'll do it a little lowercase, social media. There we are. Okay, that was exhausting. I don't really know about all these keywords and stuff, but I'll add some. Let's see, social media marketing. Probably supposed to spell that properly.
They ought to build categories like, instead of just keywords, they ought to build things like disruptive, or controversial, or empathetic, motivational, that type of tonality as well. That'd be interesting, I think.
Well, in High Level, we can select it, so we can select the writing tone. So I'm going to go with professional.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that was available. This is my lack of techiness, which I'm not a techie at all. You're probably way more advanced than I am from the likes of it.
Well, not really, but I use this thing a lot because it's cool, and I can't see well. My vision's terrible actually, and my hands are arthritic from typing for 24 straight years. So it's hard for me to make posts from my phone. So I just use the Go High Level social media planner, and it works great because I don't have to do that. So we also want to select how long of a post we're going to make. I like to click on the custom length, and I'm going to tell it to make it 500 words long. We won't necessarily make a 500 word long post. But here we go. We have like some actual data. All right. The email marketing is up to 40 times more effective than social media. I'm just going to paste that in there. Um, let's see. Is there anything else we can paste in there that like might give us some better fuel?
Let's get some ideas out there in the commentary. Post in the Facebook comments if you have
Here we
some
go.
ideas.
Look, we can just copy and paste this thing too. Study also shows that the buying process happens 3 times faster than in social media. So I'm going to paste that too. So, we're spending more time talking about it than it actually takes to do it, just so you know. So I'll say studies also show that instead of the buying process, I'll say people buy. It's just easier sounding. 3 times faster from email than from social media. There we go. All right. So that came directly from the Google. Probably true. McKinsey and Associates did the study. They're a great big fancy. I think they did anyway. Yeah, McKinsey and Company did the study. Pretty sure they're not lying. All righty. So we're going to click on generate, and we'll see what happens. All right. Here's hoping I don't have to re-log in. I've had this tab open for a while. Come on, baby. If you do it like this, it'll make stuff work faster. There we are. Okay, it was that. What did I tell you? See? Okay, so we can like rewrite these if we want or not. But I'm just going to sort of like pick one. All right, so let's see. Kind of like this one. Well, no, actually, I like this one best. All right, so check this out. Where's my little thingy? Here it is down at the bottom. If we click on copy right here, it'll just put that thingy in the post writer. I think it's actually pretty good. If I wanted to take the time, I could rewrite this and make it a little more conversational,
Well,
but I'm not going to.
I think this is better than having to come up with new ideas every freaking Monday and Sunday. And I'm pretty sure everybody will run out of ideas on content marketing in general, especially when you go after these boring industries and it's the same old stuff, So I think this takes, an average person quite far, in my opinion.
Yeah. And if I wanted to bore you guys, I might edit this just to make it sound more like my own personal writing style. But like I would never say personally in conclusion, but dude, this is like a billion times better than not doing anything. So now all we got to do is change the call to action here. All right. So I'll put if you want to really make email marketing, yep, well, in your business, maybe consider Rainmaker AI. Whoops. Probably would help if I could spell AI.com. If I wasn't on camera, I could spell. All right. So there we go. So I'm going to click on continue. Now, there's a reason I'm using language like maybe consider. When you say that kind of stuff in your content and you're that passive and laid back about it, it comes across as less pushy. And not to get like into psychology, which I'm not an expert on at all, but this is kind of what I've learned. People respond better to things like, hey, maybe consider trying this rather than go here and do that. So that's why I wrote it that way. All right. So like we have the makings of a post here. So what do we need? Well, we need to spell the word leverage properly. All right. There we are. Oh, it cut me off. Alrighty. I gotta make it shorter. Apparently, character limit. I had too many characters. They limited my characters. Okay, dang it. So now I got to come over here. Watch this.
Well, that last one after number 3 might not be needed.
Email marketing office more targeted approach. Okay, let's see. Kaboom. So I'll get rid of that. personalization, targeted reach, higher conversion rates. All right.
Now, what's the frequency of this, Frank? How often should we do this? I mean, is this like a daily thing that you do, or is it a once a week thing? Like, is there a certain cadence to marketing in this style organically?
Every day.
Okay.
And I'll show you in a second. Let's see. From email versus social. All right. Capitalize media there. There we go. Okay. So now I'll just kind of get rid of all this other stuff. There we go. All righty. And I got some more room. So I'll say, if you want to ramp up your email marketing fast, consider taking a look at rainmakerai.com. There we go. All right.
I like the soft call to action because it doesn't come off desperate. It doesn't come off like you're too needy in a sense.
And we're going to show this a lot. All right. We're going to show stuff like this a lot. So here's our actual post body copy. It looks pretty good. I like it. Again, like if I wasn't on camera, I would rewrite it a little bit to make it more conversational like me, but that's really being kind of nitpicky. It's good content here. But we need the graphic. Okay. So we got to have us one of them. Therefore, what we going to do is this. Look, I have made for you a bunch of templates to the types of graphics that work well for me. These are Canva templates. All righty. And I'm going to use this one. Let's see if this will work for me. Okay. Look at that. Edit template. I'm going to say use template for new design. There we go. Okay.
Cool. So I guess I'll have those links from you after the workshop and throw that into the resources drive. So appreciate that. I think we mentioned it yesterday. Okay, cool. They're in the slides. Awesome.
All righty. And I'll just now put rainmakerai.com here. Okay, I like that one. That's pretty good. Normally, don't use graphics, but this is just such a totally easy setup that why wouldn't we, So now I'll just give it a name, mail versus social, and I'll download this sucker. All righty, blah, blah, blah. I always recommend using the square image because it shows up perfectly on both platforms, the Facebooks and the Instagrams. So we can now come back over here to your social media planner poster thingy. We're going to click on our picture thingy and we're going to upload from media library. This is all high level. So I'm going to upload that image I just done made right there.
Even the graphics, Frank, do you not use the AI graphic tool? I think there's a option to even curate a bunch of stock stuff. Are you a fan of that?
There is. Okay. But I like it really simple. Like if I wasn't, I'm doing this on the fly, actually. Like, I literally did that search this morning, right before we got on. But no, I typically wouldn't even have an image in here. I would just use like one of these, for example.
Text graphic.
Yeah, like this. Like seriously, like here's how to, lose weight really, really fast or whatever, like that kind of design. These are the ones I've tested and these work really well. Where I'll say just because I'm going to try to take credit for your hard work at Go High Level. Our AI image builder will make really cool images and stuff, but then you still have to put the text over it. So it's like, well, for this particular kind of thing, we just want to make the easy, basic text stuff. So now we're going to post it. All right. So this is difficult to do, but I'll do it. I had to press the button. All right. So now it's doing that. Actually, so now it's posting it. Yeah. So that's it's not too shabby of a post, So let me now show you what we do next. Okay. So our next mission is we done did that. Okay, so blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. So now here's what we want to do is we want to turn it into an ad. We haven't done this part yet. So here are the steps. I'm just gonna do these for you, but the reason I'm showing you the slides is because I've got you some screenshots and stuff. I do want to tell you the net effect of this. So if we do 7 total posts, if that's all you do, I want you to do more, but if you only do 7, hang on.
Yeah, they say you should do 4 to 5 a day. But who's they?
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, seriously, but like for this ad purposes, like if you just do one of these a day and we're using them for advertising, we're not trying to gain followers or anything. I think one a day is perfect because it compounds. But if you only do 7, so what's going to happen is using what I'm about to walk you through, you're going to be showing these helpful posts to your perfect audience every day because we're going to turn them into ads. And this type of ad we're using is really cheap, and we can target like really, really, really like narrow targets with this kind of stuff. Good Lord, man. All right, can y'all still see stuff? My whole computer just like blinked for a minute.
No,
Everything
you're
cool?
good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Really strange.
Yeah, I think it was like a lightning strike, but we're back.
Okay. I did that with my mind.
How many of you, just real quick, how many of y'all are actually running paid ads right now for either SaaS or agency services? Give me a 1 in the Facebook thread in the commentary. I would love to kind of get a temperature check of how many of y'all are actually running paid ads. Give me a 2 in the chat if you're doing organic, but you haven't started paid ads, but you've already started organic outreach. Let me just kind of see where we are as a community, as a group, of being able to put out content for your industry or the industry that you serve. I see a few ones. Let's see here.
Ads usually terrify people.
Yeah.
It's funny to me. We'll spend $10,000 getting certified as a funnel jacker or whatever the term there. But we're scared to death of spending $100 on ads and not making that $100 back, and it's
okay.
I don't know why. I mean, I do because our brains extrapolate it to, well, I'm never going to be successful because at this rate, I'm going to lose $100 a day and I'll be bankrupt and all that. Yeah. But it's funny. Ads really do intimidate and frighten people, but they shouldn't, So anyway, the way we set this up, if we only have 7, all right, we're going to build this very specific kind of campaign. What'll happen is we have this perfect audience of people, and Facebook's only going to let them see one of your posts every day. They won't, or rather, they won't show the same post more than once over a 7-day period by default. So if you have 7 of them, it means that every single day, your very narrow, super targeted group of people that I'm going to show you how to find in a minute, they're seeing something new from you every day, even if you only start out with 7 of these things. So because of that, over time, especially, this will cause people to come to you for the solution to whatever it is you can help them with. And obviously, we're only wanting to show people the content or the people who have the problem that you can solve, right? We don't want to show it to random people. So if you do a new one every day for a while, okay, then you turn a new post into an ad, that you adjust your budget accordingly. I'm going to recommend you do a $5 per post per day ad budget if you have 7 of them. All right. So if you end up doing 15 of them, then you can just do ad budget of $2.50 per day instead of $5, and you're still only spending, $35 or whatever the math is there. So I'm not advising you to spend a ton of money. I really do think you should start out at a lower budgets and kind of let it build and be conservative with it. And if you can swing it, work your way up to 30 ads at $5 a day each. And man, if you do that, you will freaking own that market of who you're targeting. Like, they will know you. You will definitely be a household name for sure. So let's create one of these campaigns together. What do you say? And incidentally, I won't go super fast here, but
yeah,
I got screenshots and stuff for you in the slides, so you can, you don't feel like you have to rush and take a bunch of notes or anything like that. And I've also got that little section that I breeze through.
Yeah.
And the slides too, just so you're good. You know what I mean? Like you're all right. I got you already. Hit save on that just in case. All right, get out of there full screen. Well, you're not in full screen. Get out of there. Okay. Hey, if you talk to it, if you talk to your computer, it's going to work better. Okay, so here are the ones I've been running, by the way, like the same campaign that I showed you. Here they are, just spending $5 a day on them, doing the same thing I'm telling you. So it's pretty cool. All righty. So we'll create a new campaign. Just click on the big old create button. All righty. This is important. All right. This is the button we want to check right here. Awareness. Hang on. I'm going to hit refresh because just in case, I haven't had Facebook open since yesterday. So let me just make sure it's like alive. Yep. Still, I don't want to get hung up and weird on us, which I think I just did. There we go. Okay. So I'll click create again. This is the campaign objective, awareness. So if you've never run ads before, then this, you're like, okay, whatever. But if you're used to running ads, most people will run it for leads or for sales. This is awareness. All right. Totally different. Like way, 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 way different. Easier, simpler, but different. You got to think differently with this. So I'll just click that button. It was a lot to do, but we did it. And I'll click on continue here. All righty. So that was easy. I'll name it whatever we want to name it. Right.
So let's call it air cover.
Air cover. All right.
Air cover. So it's actually a term that Verizon uses. And have you ever seen those like little blimps that are flying around like a residential area, and they've got a little banner behind it? And you read it, it's like really all you put was the name of the company. There's like no call to action. There's like no statements. And that's all, that's all done intentionally. And what they do is fly this thing around in like a certain zip code. So they call it air cover. And then after that, what they do is run direct response marketing to the routes in those zip codes that the blink essentially air covered, right? So it's kind of like their branding advertisement, and then once in a while they'll trickle in a direct response offer in there somewhere. And really the principle of what we're doing here is exactly that, right? As a brand. Yeah, go ahead.
So funny, dude. I wonder how much we could get them to pay us to tell them how to do this. We'd have to figure out how to really drag it out.
It's a lot of it's a lot of fuel that they're burning, but it works. I mean,
if that works, then this would really work for them. We'd have to figure out a way to make it take like a week to explain this, so it would feel like it was really something hard, you know. So I just named it. Like that's all we did. We named the campaign. I'm not doing anything else over here, so that's all. Now we'll click on next. Now we're at the ad set level. This is where we tell the Facebooks who to target. All right, and what countries and other stuff. So first thingy I'm going to do is I'll just add it, or rather I'll call this thing post 1. All right, there we go. So that's the name of the ad set. Call it whatever you want to, it doesn't matter. This is important. We're lucky it is set by default is maximize the reach of the ads, but if it isn't, this is what we want it to be, which is just basically we're saying just show this to people. That's all. So all those other types of Facebook ads are expensive because you're telling Facebook to use its machine learning. With this, we're not. We're just like, just show it to people, just like a newspaper ad. So these are very, very cheap. I got my little Facebook page linked up over here already. I'm going to leave this off. I got my $5 daily budget set up. We can start this right now. We're going to go hog wild. And now, I don't know if this is on all accounts, but they have this on by default. We don't want to do this Advantage Plus thing. Okay, so just click on switch to original audience options. This lets us do very granular targeting. Okay, so make sure you got that. So we have come up with a random campaign name and a random ad set name and clicked a button. That's all we've done so far. All righty. So now it's time to do some targeting. All right. So this is a very different animal than regular Facebook ads. And regular Facebook ads nowadays, you go like really wide and you target huge audiences. and you let their machine learning figure out who your customer is, and it's amazing. With this, we want to do the opposite. We want to get as narrow as we can. So for Rainmaker, I know who my buyer typically is. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to come to the detailed targeting section. And first of all, I'll keep it in the US, just to be overly nationalistic, and see if I can get somehow offend somebody. I'm joking. I like to advertise to the US because of our time zones for support. So we offer, we took a play out of your book, actually, where you guys can just get on Zoom with people, so we do that now, but
yeah,
we don't have it 24/7. So it works better with US. All right. So for whatever reason, most of the folks who buy my stuff are dudes. So I'm just going to go after the people who normally buy from me. So this is like a giant audience. This is way too big. So now we can and this is super important here. Okay. We can get very, very specific with who we're targeting. So I want to, if possible, it doesn't always show us the audience size, but I want to target a group of people that's really going to be like less than 100K, and ideally less than 50,000 people. So I want to find like the perfect people and target those guys. And if your audience is only like 2,000 people, that's fine. Like you're going to totally own that freaking market within 2 weeks, so it's good. All righty. So if I were doing it specifically for my own software program, well, let's see. First thing I want to do is I want these folks to be, check this out. I want them to be people who are running ads already, because if they're running ads already, they're probably really going to need to follow up with their leads, and they probably are doing a terrible job of that. So therefore, we come over here on your Facebooks, I think it's behaviors. We click over here to digital activities. Not that one, although that was a cool thing. Let's see.
Yeah, behaviors traditionally is more expensive than interest, just in targeting wise.
It is for other types of ad campaigns, but this particular ad campaign strategy, everything's cheap. Yeah. And this is like one of those things where I'm like, you'll be cool about this before they figure it out.
Don't tell anybody.
It's and nobody does it. So it's like, all right, don't. So my perfect person is going to be generally, and I'm not saying these are the perfect people. This is just who buys the stuff from me mostly, are dudes within this age range. I would like it if more ladies bought stuff from us because they're smarter and easier to deal with, but it's mostly dudes. And like in an ideal world, they're already Facebook business page administrators, meaning they probably have a business. Otherwise, they wouldn't be Facebook page administrators. So we got that. Okay. So did I click that thing? I did. All right. Now, this is still a big old audience, right?
Yeah.
This is where we can get obnoxious. Okay. This is cool. If you click on narrow audience here, right there, we can be like, okay, I also want them to have this criteria. So only people who have both of these things. So I can come over here, and I'm just going to use Facebook's demographic stuff for now because this is so cool. I think it's behaviors though. Yep. We go back to digital activities, and we can also find Instagram business profile admins.
So they have to have both. They have to have both before. If they just have one, that's because their nephew slapped one on. They're not serious about their business. It's not, is that the justification or thought process? Okay, got it.
That, and I also want that audience to be smaller. I don't want it to be really, really big. I want to get like under 100,000 people if I can.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, they're business page admins and their Instagram business profile admins. All right, that's pretty cool. Let me narrow it further. All right, because I want this audience to be a little bit smaller. So I'll narrow this thing further.
And what's crazy is if y'all are watching this, you're going to naturally have a smaller audience just because I think a lot of you should go after the local spaces, right? So a local city, just narrowing it down to just Facebook page and Instagram admin criteria will probably give you a very isolated needle in the haystack that you can just bamboozle with a decent sized budget and just be everywhere.
Yeah, you can for sure. All right, so like now we can go into interest targeting. We could do stuff like only show this to the top 10% zip code stuff. I found that that doesn't really yield a better, like financially better person. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. So we'll just find an interest, all right? And so one interest I always love to target. Um, this particular interest is conversion marketing or conversion optimization. This one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess you're going after internet-oriented businesses in general for yourself, right? That's kind of
Yeah.
why you pick these categories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So these guys are, this is a little bit too small for me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not too, like you could pull it off with this, but I'm like, okay, I narrowed that down a little bit too much. So
Yeah.
now what I'll do, of course, today is the day that the yard guys come. Can you hear the leaf blower that's right there? They're like, he's
No,
on Zoom. Let's hit him up with the leaf blower. Fire it
no,
up, boys.
seriously, I got my guy that comes in. I've got a huge window right here in my room. Somehow, every time I'm on a live, it's like just blasting away.
Yeah.
It's
I
like, oh,
planned this. Can you hear it?
no, we cannot hear it. I
Oh,
think
that's awesome.
I think your
Okay, that's
microphone
good.
has noise
So
cancellation.
that was a little too narrow. So I'm going to try another one. Let's see. Conversion. There was another conversion thing.
So what's the
Convert.
range? What is too narrow? What is too big? What's the actual range? Is it like 25,000 people to maybe 100,000? Is that the bracket that you're going after?
This is pretty good. I like it to be 50K and under,
Okay.
ideally. And if I were, going, if I had a local business or whatever, 2,000 people is perfect,
Okay.
right? But I have the budget and I'm looking to scale. So this is pretty good right here. And this is a very freaking tightly targeted group now. So we have United States, we have dudes, we have between the ages of 34 and 55, and they are business page admins, and they are Instagram business profile admins, and they are interested in conversion marketing. So chances are this type of content is going to resonate with them. All right. So this is kind of, dude, it's just right there, man.
You're
You
good.
really can't hear
We
that?
can't. No, I think your microphones all have noise
That's
cancellation. So
great.
we're
I'm
good.
going to see if I can, well, I think if I plug these in, I will switch the mics. So I'll just deal with it. All right. So anyway, I think the logic behind my targeting here is pretty clear. We don't want to show it to everybody. We want to get obnoxious and try to show it to the perfect freaking person. So, all right, that was easy. Okay. So we did that. And we just want to make sure that Facebook doesn't get us. I think I'm yelling now because I have to compensate for the thing. I just want to make
You
sure that it's
can-
not going to like show it to other people that I don't want. So we're good. Okay. The placements thing is fine. That's all good. And I'll now click on next. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to make it a little bit fancier. I'll switch to manual placements. I'm not going to do what they want me to do, which is to run this test. I'm going to exclude audience network, and I'm only going to show this in the Facebook feed and the Instagram feed, and that's all. So
yeah.
I'm buying the best possible placement. So that means that it's only going to show up. Good Lord, these guys. Okay. It's only going to show up in this main. Can you see that in this
Yeah.
main part? Although, dude, that's a post I just made. That's hilarious. When it tells me, look, I slept 5 hours last night and 38 minutes. Amazing. So look, there's our post, by the way. Ha, look at there. Okay. So man, those dudes finally stopped. So I'm going to uncheck all of this other stuff. No, no, no. Cool. So we're just like only these placements, like just the perfect premier placements. All right. So we got that. And now it's time to make our ad. And here's how we do it. Okay. So I'm going to name the ad.
So
Email.
real quick, Frank, you're not taking the organic postings you did and boosting it.
No,
Okay, got it. So
because let's like assume that someone's a beginner, right? Who are they
yeah,
going to boost it to? They don't have anybody to boost it to.
yeah.
So, and also like a lot of the folks that follow my page and stuff, they might not be the right person for this particular offer. You know, a lot of them might be just starting out or whatever, and that's fine. But the ideal customer is someone who's already doing stuff and they're already spending money on ads and they're very committed to making them work. They'll stick longer. It's kind of like, you guys know this from running software,
Oh
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I can either create an ad or I can use an existing post, which is what I'm going to do. All righty. So I'll excuse my voice here. I'll select the post that we just made, which is this one right here. All right. And I'll hit continue. And now I'm not going to add music, although that would be entertaining to me. And I just want to make sure this is up to you, but I want to make sure that I don't have a call to action. I'm just going to get rid of it. So I don't want the button.
Yeah, you should
Just,
all of you should turn off the music. I mean, I'll tell you, the Black Friday ads that we just ran on High Level, I think we accidentally left ad music on there. And it's like the music that the system ended up default playing was like those orchestra classical, like the stuff you hear at like a funeral. And I was like, hey, what's going on? Why do we have these crazy like classical music playing with all of our Black Friday offers? It was like traumatic. And it was quite painful to just get rid of the music and relaunch ads. And we had already got approved. It takes like 2 days to get approved at our level. And oh man, yeah, pay attention to these small details. Just FYI, go through every single one of these little items, and I promise you, every time you will miss something. So create yourself like a checklist. It's probably what I would recommend.
yeah. And actually, I think if I done did it right, refer to the slides because I'm pretty sure I outlined it. I probably missed something, but big thing is like don't overthink it and overcomplicate. Like even if it's not perfect, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
So don't give yourself an out. All right, watching you overcomplicators. I do it myself. That's how I know. So like there's our beautiful post there, and so I'll do one more little thing, which is because I know where this is headed. I'm going to rename my ad set email versus social. Nobody else sees this. Like it's just us. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'll click on next. I'm going to publish this sucker right here. That's what it looks like. Pretty sure I don't have a call to action anywhere. I'm just double checking. I don't. Good. Okay.
Yeah, it's so
So there
interesting
we go.
because you're doing the opposite of what most companies do when it comes to running ads, right? They're almost everybody throws in lead ads, conversion ads, and they're trying to take from the algorithm. Here we have our mentality of just like, okay, we just want to put information out there that's valuable so people can stay on the platform. So of course, Facebook, Instagram, all these platforms are going to love a system like this because it keeps people on the platform scrolling.
Yeah. And it's very, very cheap. So once you do one, all right, this is like, here's how to do this now and have it be 1,000 times easier. You come back in the campaign, it's going to say ads inactive until it gets approved. And you just duplicate the ad set. All right. And let's pretend we made another post. So I'll hit duplicate, keep it in the original campaign. We'll hit duplicate again. All right. So I'm going to change this name in a minute. But now, if we want to add another post, I can just come over here to the ad. And I can be like, okay, let's use an existing post. And let's see. We change my post. There we are. Change post. And I'll choose a new one. All right. And these are all videos. So I'll have to choose a video one. But whatever, you get the point. Good Lord, they're doing it again. A second pass of leaf blowing. What have I ever done to you, sir? Okay. So I'll choose this
we can't
thing.
hear it. Don't worry, we can't hear it.
That's good. It's messing up my flow. So I'll hit continue just to show you how that it's simple. And now I would like just name the ad something differently just for my own record. So this is like stuff versus value video. All right. And then I would just name the ad set. And again, like I'm just showing you that video example just to give you an example of how easy it is to make another one of these once you've done another post. It's simple. You just duplicate it, swap out your ad, you're good to go. So I'll hit publish. So now what I've got, and I like this audience a lot, by the way. Like, this is a perfect audience. So I'm going to hammer these dudes when we hang up. I'm going to put a whole bunch of stuff in front of them. So if we come back over here now to our campaign, what I have, so here's our campaign, air cover. And right now I have it to, once it's approved, it'll be spending a grand total of $10 a day. And if I do 7 posts, which is the minimum recommended, it'll only show them one specific post over a 7-day period. So it'll rotate them out. And if we put 30 of these damn things in there, and you don't want to spend a shit ton of money, then you can lower your budget. Let's say 30 of them at, I would pay a little bit more than $1 a day, but like 30 of them at $2 a day or something, and you're going to completely saturate this market, especially over time. So what this ends up looking like is a campaign like this one, right? Where I've got all of these different things, and this is what's important. Okay. So this is just over the past however many days here, 5 days. Okay. It's there. This is how cheap this is. They're charging me $6.18 to show that ad to 1,000 perfectly targeted people.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is back in the day, you would be able to just post something on Facebook and everybody will see it just based on the algorithm. That's the way it used to be. But now if you spend a little bit, you'll capture that organic presence.
Yeah, you just know who you want and then you can target them. So like that audience is freaking perfect. Like the one that I just pulled up there, like that one's a great audience. I'm about to build a campaign for those folks for sure. So it's so damn cheap. And then this is why I was like, okay, this really, really makes sense as a long-term strategy. So what will happen on day one is probably like nothing. And week one, it'll be like, well, this isn't really very exciting. But then like week 2, 3, and 4, especially if you keep adding stuff to them, it'll get pretty good. Yeah. And you'll be like, damn, this was like, okay, this is worth doing.
Yeah. So Frank, what else do we need to learn with day 2 content today? I know we're coming up on the time here for today, and we're not going to do a Q&A today, actually. And what I want you all to do is post your questions in the comments, and we'll go through it and have it prepped for tomorrow. And tomorrow's the last day, so we'll do a big Q&A tomorrow anyway. But we had a lot of ground, a lot of things to cover. So yeah, perfect assignment. We need more homework. We need more homework.
Create a post and turn it into an ad. Okay. And if you're feeling froggy, make 7 of them. And then do what I just showed you, like duplicate it, and that's it. And literally like all these other things. As you can see, I just need more bullet points on the slide or else it'll look weird. So this is the homework. Like create at least one. Turn it into an ad like I just showed you. Don't worry if you have 1 follower, it doesn't freaking matter. Nobody gives a shit. Just all they care about is themselves. So we just want the copy to be and the content to be useful to them. Yeah. Please don't try to make cool videos at this stage. The only reason I'm making that big point is I don't want people being like, well, wait a minute, this obviously doesn't work. You're using video. Only reason I'm using videos because I don't feel like doing the freaking labor, and I already have a gazillion hours of video footage that I can just repurpose. So I'm like, well, might as well. But this works better than the videos. Awesome. So do this. You're good.
We'll do that. And so those of you that are watching, if you didn't get a chance to watch the replays or even attend one of the last, not the last workshop, but the one before that with Ali Bloyd. Ali's a great gal. We did a huge paid ads workshop, and it's really about direct response. And here with Frank Kern, we're learning the branding play, the air cover, the way to kind of dominate your pinpoint market and just be the leader there. So if you combine both those strategies, I think going into 2024, your business will be pretty interesting. And I like to think you should be able to dominate. if you have the right relevant content out there, the right relevant audience chosen at the end of the day. So anything else we need to cover, Frank, for day 2?
No, but to your point, you're absolutely right. Because what ends up happening is you build a retargeting audience by doing this. And if you keep doing it, you'll have this audience you can retarget.
Yeah.
And this Facebook tracking is actually off. This yielded 16. Reason I know it's off is because high levels Facebook tracking like freaking rules. So I just looked at high levels tracking, which tracked it accurately. But this little weekend promo right here was a $3,000 promo. It just ran from from Sunday morning to Monday morning. It got me 16 conversions, and it got them at actually cheaper than that, which is definitely within my KPIs. So it's
and
where you're headed was right. Like it actually works exceptionally well.
We spent, hundreds and thousands of dollars in ads when it comes to our company, obviously in multiple channels. And I promise you, the halo effect is real. Like if you have relevant, just good information about a certain thing, and it doesn't have to be fancy, it just needs to be relevant. If it's relevant and a lot of these platforms are picking it up, when you'll see natural rise in your organic signups, all your landing pages, all your websites, all your socials, like everything, the engagement and the level of interaction, it's like all tides just rise together. And that's really the halo effect in general, in real life.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Here are your links for the graphics if you need them for Canva, just so you don't have to make new ones. Here's some more ideas of where to get content if you need them, like where to get content ideas. Seriously, though, Answer the Public is the most logical one.
Frank, for day two, I'll add these slides to the same Google Drive as soon as I get it from you on the Slack channel. Let me go ahead and share my screen for a quick second here. Let me go ahead and just for this particular workshop, we are doing a promotional offer, which is if you don't have high level yet, you can jump into a 30-day trial. And you get to either test out the $97 account or the $297 account. So jump in. You're not going to get a 30-day trial anywhere else, and that's at gohighlevel.com/Frank Workshop Offer. We're trying to be memorable here with the domains ourselves. So it's Frank Workshop Offer. Go there and you'll be able to jump into one of those trials. Or if you upgrade, feel free to upgrade if this is a good time for you. No pressure there, but SaaS is a real thing. You see Frank launching his Rainmaker AI, and it's taken off, going off to the moonshot now. And in case if you are not ready to just click the buttons, but just simply want to talk to someone, we have that option as well. Any questions that you may have regarding upgrading or signing up to one of these trials, you can go to speakwith.us/consult, and you'll be able to take advantage of these. That's gohighlevel.com/Frank Workshop Offer. So today we're not going to do a Q&A because we had a lot of content and ground to cover. Tomorrow we'll do an extended Q&A. So those of you that jumped in, replays of day 1 is in the YouTube channel and the Facebook group. Obviously, replay of day 2 will be available as well. I'll have these slides added to the Google Drive pretty soon. But anyways, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Frank.
Thanks for having me, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Tomorrow we're gonna do some more work, and it'll be fun. It'll be using the stuff I gave you.
Awesome. Well, have fun dealing with those leaf blowers that are blasting your window there.
Yeah. But they stopped because we're done. They're like, they're done. Turn the leaf blowers off. You're good. I'm like, thank you. Okay.
Well, all right. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow, same time.
All right.
12 p.m. EST. Goodbye.
Take it easy.